Hey everybody, this is Brian with Westcott Woodworks, and I'm going to show you today a quick video on how to drill a 35mm hole to mount this European cup hinge into one of these shaker style cabinet doors. If you don't know how to make shaker style doors, I've got another video up on YouTube you can check out that'll show you everything you need to know on how to do that. So we're going to go head over to the drill press and get set up, and I'll show you what to do. Alright, over at the drill press, the first thing you want to do is install your bit. This is a 35mm Forstner bit. As I said before, this one is made by Freud. I really like it compared to the other ones because it's got this serrated profile here at the bottom. I don't know if it'll pick it up in the camera, but it just eats right into the wood and cuts right through it when you're trying to bore the hole. It doesn't bog down. So the first thing you want to set up after you get the bit in is you want to have your line of travel. This needs to bore into your door 7/16 of an inch for this particular hinge that I have here. So what I do is I'll set up this bit from this table. I want it to be 1 inch from the bottom of this table to where this is, and that gives me a 1/4 inch of workspace to slide the door in because the door is 3/4 of an inch thick. So I've got a 1/4 inch of play between the top of where the door is and the bottom of this bit. Then I use the little depth adjustment up here, and I set it so that it will allow me to travel the 7/16 of an inch that I need to drill in, plus the extra 1/4 inch of give so that I can slide the workpiece in and out to drill it. So that's all set up there. The next thing I do after that is I set up this fence behind where the bit comes down on the table. I just set it right on the table and clamp it down. Now for the particular bit that I'm using, it's a 1/2 inch overlay hinge for my doors. So the book and the instructions that it comes with says I need to have the edge, this side of the bit, 3/32 of an inch from the fence. So that's how much meat there needs to be on the edge of the door. So it's not a whole lot. So you want to use a little test piece and get that set up just right so that you can make sure it's 3/32 of an inch. Alright, and then lastly, the other thing I do, now it's going to be tough to see, well, you can see the one right here, and then I also have another mark right down here. Those marks are exactly 4 inches from the center of this bit. So what I do when I go, this is just a test piece here, I'll slide my door in and I'll line it up right on that mark. I'll drill one side and then I'll slide it down and I'll go to the other mark that's over here and I will drill down there. And what that does is that gives me a 4 inch offset from the top and bottom of the door for my hinges. You generally want to do about 3 or 4 inches from the top and bottom of your doors. And so I'll drill both of those and then I'll install the hinge. Alright, now that everything's all set up, I can go ahead and slide my door in, line it up with that point. Once I get it in there, I can turn the drill press on and go ahead and drill my door. The speed I have mine on is as low as it'll go, which I think is about 480 rotations per minute. And then I just slowly bring it down and bore into there. You want to go on a slow speed because this is a pretty big chunk that you're trying to bore out of here. So we'll go ahead and bore it. So now you can see there on this piece, it's 7/16 in. You just had to take my word for that. And then I've got 3/32 of meat here between the door edge and where this hole starts. Alright, and now we'll go ahead and drill the other side. So again, line up with your mark down at the end. Once you're all lined up and snugged in there, you turn on the press and drill it down. Alright, and there it is. You got your 2 holes drilled in each side, one there and one here, and we'll just mount the hinges. All right, both holes are drilled, and we're going to put the hinge on. They're not real fancy to this. You just stick the cup hinge there in the hole. The only key is you want to try and make the tail here on both sides where you're going to attach it to your frame of the cabinet. You want to make sure those are pretty even. And then you'll just go ahead and screw the hinge on. I don't get too bent out of shape. I'll just put one on there a little bit, and then I'll come back and put the second one on. Just kind of make sure they're pretty close and snug them up. And again, there's a lot of adjustment with these European hinges from left to right, up and down. So it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. You can always adjust it after you put it on. So I'll go ahead and install the other hinge, and then we'll mount it on the cabinet. We're inside now. We've got our hinges mounted on the top and the bottom, so we're going to go ahead and mount it to the actual cabinet. Now, if you can look really close here, if this will focus, there's this little tab right here, and there's another one right up here. I know it's hard to see, but there's two tabs there, and they're pointing out. We want to have those go up flush against the cabinet before we screw this in. So what I do is I just kind of take it, and I've got a little mark. I know you won't be able to see it on the screen there, but I've got a little mark that I'm going to line this up with. I'm going to put a screw in and just go ahead and screw it in once it's all lined up. And you don't have to get it completely on there. I usually leave it a little loose so I can adjust them here once I get the bottom on as well. So we'll go ahead and put that one on. Alright, once that's on, as long as everything else is lined up, you go ahead and put your other two screws in. Tighten this one up. And then put your last screw in. And there you go. You've got your functioning door. It opens and closes like it should. From this point, you can adjust it once you get the other stuff on there if you need to tweak it.